The wealthiest place on this planet is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the gold mines of South America. Write this down. The wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery. Not too far from your house, because it is packed, loaded, overflowing with gifts that never came out, dreams that never breathed, businesses that never opened their doors, songs that no one ever heard, solutions that stayed in prison in somebody's head until the funeral. And I got news for you, your paycheck knows it. Your paycheck has read your standards all year long, and it's been reporting the truth about your life back to you every other Friday without lying. Some of you came into this room because your job is thorns, your chair is thorns, your morning alarm is thorns, and every thorn is telling you, you were not born for this cage. Your gift is suffocating under what you are tolerating. Late nights wasted on distractions, prices kept low to buy approval, boundaries soft because you feared being misunderstood. You have intentions, I know you do, but intentions without standards are wishes, and wishes don't write checks. Intentions don't file invoices. Intentions don't raise children. Intentions are wonderful at funerals because they explain why the book is still in the coffin. Please write this down. Unexpressed gifts die in the cemetery, and the only thing that decides whether your gift escapes before you die is the standard you enforce on yourself every single day. The distance between your gift and the grave is not measured in miles, it is measured in standards. Talk to me. The standard of your time, the standard of your associations, the standard of your production, the standard of your price, the standard of how you handle storms, the standard of your stewardship, the standard of your renewal. These are the rails that carry your gift out of the graveyard's reach. Your income isn't a rebel, it is obedient. Your income does not obey your feelings, it obeys your standards. Your paycheck will stand in court and testify, I only paid what the standard required, and it will not perjure itself for your emotions. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. The cemetery is honest. It keeps what you refuse to release, and it buries what you refuse to standardize. I want you to hear me like a father tonight. We are not here to play with your future. We are here to rescue it. We are going to locate and raise your invisible ceiling, that quiet line you've been living under, the line your tolerations drew in secret while you were busy being busy. And we are going to push it up until it shatters. Say it with me. No more donations to the cemetery. Look at your neighbor. Go ahead and tell them, I will not add my treasure to the grave. Now give yourself a hand for choosing altitude, because only eagles clap for the climb. Are there eagles in this room? If you are an eagle, shout altitude. From this moment forward, consider me your papa eagle, pushing the nest with love. I will sting you with truths that feel like thorns, not to hurt you, but to call the wings out of you. We will not flatter your intentions. We will build your standards. We will not massage excuses. We will measure behaviors. We will not romance the crowd. We will raise a rare breed, and before we are done, you will make a covenant with your own mouth, a public declaration that you will leave this planet empty of your gifts. My greatest wish for you, my prayer for you is simple. When your time comes, the cemetery will look at your body and say, too late, we got nothing from this one. Now write this last line in big letters. My gift will not die with me, because my standards were deliberate while I live. I want you to write this down. You don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. Your income has memorized your tolerations. It has studied your excuses, it has observed your boundaries, it has clocked your lateness and your excellence, and it pays accordingly. Desire is a beautiful dreamer, but standards are the paymaster. I got news for you. Your life does not rise to your intentions. It rises to your standards, and your income follows. Say it with me. My income obeys my standards. Louder. My income obeys my standards. Let me define a standard so we stop lying to ourselves. A standard is the lowest behavior you refuse to drop below, even under pressure. Write that down. Not the poster on your wall. Not the inspirational quote in your phone. Not the speech you give when you're feeling good. A standard is your non-negotiable floor. It's the quality you deliver when you're tired. It's the boundary you enforce when you're afraid to lose the client. It's the integrity you keep when no one is watching. If it changes with your mood, it is not a standard, it is a suggestion. If it collapses under pressure, it was a preference, not a principle. Talk to me. Income is a servant of standards. Raise the floor, raise the flow. The market is trained by your floor. If your floor is, I show up and I feel like it, the market will pay you like a hobby. If your floor is, I deliver on time and beyond spec every time, the market will hunt you like a treasure. If your floor is, I discount to avoid discomfort, your bank account will discount you into anxiety. But if your floor is, I price by value, I protect my time, I produce assets before applause, then income becomes obedient and consistent. Say it again. My income obeys my standards. You are the exception, the rare breed, the eagle. Eagles are not ruled by moods, they're ruled by standards. Pigeons flutter with weather. Eagles ride the wind by principle. Your identity requires a floor that offends your feelings. Please write this next line. Moods are weather. Standards are architecture. When storms come, and they will, the weather changes your feelings, but the architecture stands. The Creator himself tied return to measurement. With the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. Luke 6:38. Measure means standard. God says, I will pay you by your measure. Not your dreams, your measure. Not your shouting, your measure. Not your tears, your measure. Let me be your Papa Eagle for a moment and make this plain. A standard of time. Early is on time. On time is late. Late is unacceptable. A standard of craft. Done is not enough. Done is excellent. A standard of communication. Clear, complete, confirmed. A standard of price. I will never underprice to buy approval. A standard of boundary. I do not negotiate my values to gain visibility. A standard of stewardship. What I monitor, I multiply. A standard of recovery. When I fail, I document the lesson within 24 hours and upgrade the process. These are floors. And when the floor rises, the ceiling comes looking for you. Turn to your neighbor and declare, raise your flow, raise your flow. Now tell the other one, no more mood management, standard management. The scripture says, do you see a man diligent and skillful in his work? He will stand before kings, Proverbs 22:29. Kings don't invite intentions, they invite standards. Courts don't reward feelings, they reward evidence. Your paycheck is a witness, and it is testifying under oath about the standards you have enforced. If you don't like its testimony, do not rebuke the witness, change the evidence. Eagles in this room, hear me. From this night forward, your life must be ruled by standards, not moods. By floors, not fantasies. By measures, not murmurs. Say it with me one more time until your soul believes it. My income obeys my standards. Now give yourself a hand for choosing a higher floor, because when the floor is faithful, the flow is inevitable. Now that your spirit has heard the law, let me ask you a dangerous question. Which species are you? Write this down. Identity precedes behavior. If you pick the wrong species, you will enforce the wrong standards. Pigeons seek approval. Eagles set standards. Are there eagles in this room? Then I want you to join me at the top. Leave the ranks of the pigeons and refuse to live one more day at ground level waiting for crumbs. Eagles fly alone. Write that down. They are not antisocial. They are anti-distraction. They build high. They focus long. They see far. Eagles don't gather around benches to peck and gossip about bread. They rise on wind. Others complain about. Pigeons crowd. Eagles climb. Pigeons chatter. Eagles concentrate. Pigeons measure by applause. Eagles measure by assignment. And I got news for you. Your identity dictates your standard, and your standard dictates your income. If you accept the pigeon identity, you will accept pigeon prices, pigeon courage, pigeon ceilings. But if you accept the eagle identity, you will accept eagle solitude, eagle focus, eagle storms, and eagle pain. Approval is a cheat cage. Hear me like a father. When you tolerate needing applause, you cap your price and you neuter your courage. Some of you have been discounting your gift to buy likes, lowering your voice to buy love, shrinking your deadlines to buy peace. That is not peace. That's a prison. The scripture says, am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? If I was still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ, Galatians 1:10. Another verse declares, the fear of man lays a snare, Proverbs 29-25. A snare is a trap you don't see until your ankle screams. Approval is that invisible rope around your standards. Break it tonight. Say this out loud until it offends your insecurity. My worth is not for sale at the market of opinions. Write this in big letters. I refuse to set my prices by their opinions. Again, I refuse to set my prices by their opinions. Your price is a proclamation of your standard. When you underprice, you underteach the market. You're telling them, treat me casually, pay me occasionally. But when you stand like an eagle and say, this is the measure, the world may complain, the pigeons may scatter, but kings will hear it. The scripture testifies. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Kings don't shop by gossip, they shop by standard. Look at me. If the applause stops, will you keep the standard? If the crowd leaves, will you keep the covenant you made with your own mouth? Eagles do. They practice in private what the crowd cannot see, so God can promote them in places the crowd cannot enter. Some of you are exhausted because you are lifting two weights, your assignment and their approval. Drop one. You cannot fly with both. Pigeons are addicted to company because company hides compromise. Eagles prefer clarity over company, destiny over density. Let me coach you with love. Audit your flock. Who only calls when you are cheap? Who claps when you shrink? Who disappears when you rise? Label them properly. Pigeons are not evil. They're just wrong for altitude. Upgrade your room so your identity stops defending your ceiling and starts demanding your sky. Speak to your neighbor and say, leave the square, find the sky. Tell the other one, I choose the eagle. Now lift your head. Say it with me. My identity is eagle. My standards serve altitude, not approval. My income obeys my standards. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40-31. Mount up means choose your species. Choose it now. Choose it when you price. Choose it when you plan. Choose it when you say no. Give yourself a hand, because tonight you just broke the cage of applause, and when the cage breaks, the wings remember. Now that you've chosen your species, let me give you your system. Write this down. Standards produce behaviors. Behaviors produce value. Value attracts income, and income funds impact and legacy. That is the ladder. That is the order. Identity without a ladder is inspiration that dies in a journal. I got news for you. Money is a mirror. What it reflects is the value your standards produce consistently. Say it with me. Money is a mirror. Again, money is a mirror. Here is the law of value. Please write it big. You are paid in proportion to the problems you consistently solve at a standard others can trust. Trust is not a feeling. Trust is a record. Matthew 7:16 says, by their fruits you shall know them. Not by their promises, not by their posts, by their fruits. Fruit is measurable. Fruit is behavior repeated long enough to become predictable. When your standards fix your behavior builds your reputation, and your reputation prints your invoices while you sleep. Let me make it painfully plain. If you tolerate distraction, you will earn by the hour. Your time is the product because your results are unreliable. If you enforce focus, you will earn by outcomes. Your results are the product because your time is too valuable to rent. That is a different economy. That is a different you. When the standard is sloppy, the behavior is late, the value is thin, the income is nervous, and the impact is a rumor. When the standard is holy, yes, holy decency and order become your rhythm, and income has no choice but to respect what order produces. The scripture says that all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is a standard that multiplies value. I want you to write this sentence and underline it twice. What you don't measure, you let decay. What you measure, you multiply. Proverbs 27-23 commands, be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. In modern terms, know your numbers. Measure your morning hours protected for deep work. Measure your promises kept on or before due dates. Measure assets shipped per week, not opinions gathered per week. Measure client outcomes, not just client compliments. Measure renewal rhythms, sleep, study, solitude, because exhausted eagles misprice their genius and sell it to pigeons. Luke 16:10 says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Your metrics in the small are court documents that qualify you for the large. Look at me like I'm your Papa Eagle. The market is not confused, it is consistent. It pays standards that produce value on schedule. If your standard is I'll try, your behavior is erratic. Your value is accidental. Your income is seasonal. Your impact is sentimental. If your standard is I deliver, your behavior is disciplined. Your value is reliable. Your income is compounding. Your impact is generational. Talk to your neighbor and say, raise the standard, raise the stream. Tell the other one, outcomes, not ours. Some of you are praying for income while protecting tolerations. Prayer is not a substitute for principle. It is a partner. Align your standard and heaven has something to breathe on. When you choose a higher floor, your daily behavior, stop negotiating and start executing. Execution manufactures value. Value sends signals. Those signals attract income. And when income shows up, covenant with it, assign it to impact. Feed your family, fund your vision, train others, build assets that will keep speaking when your voice is silent. That is legacy. That is how we starve the cemetery. Say it one last time, sow your bones. Remember, money is a mirror and it reflects the value my standards produce consistently. Now that the ladder is clear, write this down. Now I will give you 7 Eagle standards that raise your earning ceiling. Get your pen ready. Because tonight we install the floors that make your future inevitable. All right, Eagles, get your pen. Because I am about to hand you the 7 non-negotiable standards that predictably lift income and impact. Not feelings, laws, not vibes, measures. Proverbs 9:1 says, wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. Tonight we raise 7 pillars under your life, so your ceiling must move. Say it with me. Standards up, ceiling up. Louder, standards up, ceiling up. Now write this down. Each standard will come with a behavior to install, a metric to monitor, and a test you will pass before you are paid more. Your promotion will not be a surprise. It'll be an invoice your standards send to the future. Standard 1 is vision. Behavior. Write a numeric, dated, assignment-driven vision that governs your calendar targets by quarter, milestones by week, deep work by day, metric. Hours protected for production, percentage of milestones hit, and revenue mapped to outcomes, not hours. Test, quote, your quarterly targets without a notebook and hit 90% of your milestones on time for 12 weeks. When asked, what are you building? Your mouth and your metrics agree. Write the vision, make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means measurable. Standard 2 is association. Behavior. Curate your room, exit 3 draining voices, pursue 2 mentors, and convene 1 peer council each month. Metric, a relationship audit scored by growth contribution, rooms upgraded per quarter, proximity hours with those ahead of you. Test, defend your boundaries when the old crowd calls you back to crumbs. And prove it on your calendar. After 90 days, your rates and courage rise with your room. Standard 3 is production. Behavior. Ship assets before seeking applause. Products, proposals, prototypes, publish work every single week. Metric assets shipped per week. Cycle time from idea to delivery. Defect rate declining. Test 12 consecutive ship weeks without excuse. The market can set its watch by your release rhythm. Standard 4 is price and boundaries. Behavior. Establish value-based tiers, scope in writing, deposits first, no discounting to buy approval. Metric, average revenue per engagement rising, discount rate at 0, scope creep reduced to noise. Test, hold your price in 3 negotiations without flinching. Fire 1 misaligned client with honor and sleep like an eagle that kept the nest clean. Standard 5 is trust and stewardship. Behavior. Document processes, confirm commitments, Allocate cash on purpose. Tithes, taxes, reserves, reinvestment before spending. Metric, promise keeping rate over 95%. Response time under 24 hours. Monthly financial dashboards reviewed. Test, a surprise audit by a mentor, a client, or your own conscience finds your books and your systems in order. Small trusted assignments multiply into larger ones. Luke 16:10. Standard 6 is storm protocols. Behavior, pre-write playbooks for pressure communication scripts, backup capacity, recovery steps so storms become tailwinds. Metric, recovery time to baseline performance, percentage of commitments kept during crisis, lessons captured within 24 hours. Test, when the wind hits, you keep delivery on schedule and document 3 process upgrades. Adversity becomes an upgrade, not a biography. Standard 7 is renewal, behavior, guard, Sabbath, sleep, study, solitude, and skill up, quarterly subtraction, and annual reinvention. Molt to multiply. Metric, sleep hours tracked, training hours accumulated, projects pruned each quarter. Test, step away for 48 hours without collapse. Return sharper with 1 new capability and 1 retired habit. Energy and creativity return on schedule. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Look at me like I'm your papa eagle. These 7 are flaws you will write and live. Each will be codified into behaviors, installed into your calendar, measured on a dashboard, and proven under test. By the time we are done, your life will be an operating system, not an accident. Say it again until your bones remember. Standards up, ceiling up. Give yourself a hand for choosing pillars over pillows, because when wisdom sets us 7 pillars, the house stops wobbling and the income stops wandering. Now sharpen your pencil. We're about to raise the first pillar. Standard 1 is vision. What you measure, you multiply. Look at me like I'm your papa eagle. You cannot price what you cannot define. You cannot deliver what you did not design. Value is born in clarity, and income only respects a blueprint. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Businesses don't always die with bankruptcy. Many die with blurred vision. Write this down. Confusion is expensive. When the picture is fuzzy, the price falls. When the picture is plain, the price can stand. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means measurable. Plain means countable. Plain means you can check the box and send the invoice. Everybody say, clarity commands compensation. Say it again until your doubt gets nervous. Clarity commands compensation. I want to show you why. The word vision, listen carefully. When you split it with a little prefix, die plus vision, you get division. Die means 2. 2 visions inside one person is a civil war. Your morning will fight your afternoon. Your calendar will fight your calling. Your courage will fight your price. And your income will reflect the confusion. Division divides energy, divides execution, and divides income. Some of you are bleeding money, not because you lack talent, but because you have division. Too many directions, too many offers, too many maybe laters. Tonight we decide. Decide means to cut off the alternatives. Eagles decide, pigeons drift. Write this down. 1 2-month impact statement. 3 signature problems you solve. 3 outcomes you guarantee. I'll say it slower because your future is listening. First, a 1-2-month impact statement. 1 paragraph that names with dates and numbers how many people you will help, what change they will experience, and what assets you will build to make it inevitable. Second, identify 3 signature problems you solve. The specific pains your gift was born to address, stated in the customer's language, not your ego's poetry. Third, name 3 outcomes you guarantee, results you can promise with integrity, because your standard makes them predictable. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Be irreplaceable to someone. Matthew 7:16 declares, by their fruits you shall know them. Outcomes are fruit. Fruit is proof. Now we set numbers because faith without figures is fiction. Write this down. Monthly revenue standard. A flaw, not a fantasy. Choose your number, $8,000, $20,000, $80,000, whatever your assignment and season demand. And write, No month under this floor. Next, offer conversion standard. The percentage of qualified conversations that become paid engagements, 25%, 30%, 40%. Pick it, train for it, track it. Finally, customer promise standard. The measure you will keep for delivery, 95% of commitments on or before due date, 9/10 satisfaction, refund rate below 2%. Put those 3 standards where your fear can see them on your wall, in your calendar, in your daily prayer. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost? Counting is not unbelief. Counting is stewardship. And stewardship invites increase. Science tells us the eagle's vision is so sharp it can spot prey miles away while flying at speed. Why does the Creator compare himself to an eagle? Because clarity precedes capture. The eagle does not chase everything that moves. It locks on, folds its wings, and commits. That's why it rarely misses. Some of you are missing because you keep changing targets mid-flight. Pick your prey, your market, your problem, your promise, and fly straight. Speak to your neighbor and say, no more division. Tell the other one, focus funds the future. I want you to hear the Father in me. If I call you at 5 a.m. and ask, what is your 1-2 month impact, your 3 problems, your 3 outcomes, your monthly revenue floor, your conversion standard, your promise standard, your mouth should agree with your metrics without opening a notebook. That's a vision standard. And when the vision standard rises, the income standard follows. Your calendar will now submit mornings assigned to production that serves those signature problems, afternoons to conversion activities that honor the standard, Fridays to delivery reviews against the promise standard. When your days obey your vision, money will obey your measure. Everybody say it one more time. Clarity commands compensation. Say it until your bones. Remember, clarity commands compensation. Write the vision. Make it plain so he may run that reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. When you can read it, you can run it. When you can run it, you can price it. When you can price it, you can get paid for it. And when you get paid for it, you can fund impact that will keep speaking when you are silent. Clarity sets the ceiling. Your vision standard becomes your income standard. Now lift your head, sharpen your pencil, and make it plain. Standard 2 is association. Elevate your room, elevate your rate. Write this down. Who you allow near your mind sets what the market allows near your money. That is not poetry, that is policy. Your calendar is the gate. Your standards are the guards, and your company is the climate. Turn to your neighbor and declare, my company predicts my compensation. Say it again so it offends your comfort. My company predicts my compensation. Eagles fly alone first, then with eagles. Alone to remember their voice, with eagles to multiply their velocity. Your associations are altitude, equipment. I got news for you. Pigeons cannot train you for the sky. They can only introduce you to the square. If you keep your ear in the alley, your price will live in the alley. The scripture's blunt. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise. Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the discipline and your days will get order. Walk with gossips and your brand will get noise. Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Corruption bleeds into your invoices. Psalm 1 says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. Scoffing is cheap entertainment. It is the tax pigeons pay for not producing. Eagles don't sit in scoffer seats. They meet in builder rooms. Write this down. Proximity creates normal, and normal determines number. The 5 you spend the most hours with are prophesying your ceiling. If their normal is excuses, your normal will be extensions. If their normal is shipping, your normal will be invoices. If their normal is bargain hunting, your normal will be discounting. If their normal is excellence, your normal will be standards that scare your old self. Hear your Papa Eagle? Exit pigeon circles, gossip, excuses, bargain hunters. Enter eagle councils, mentors, producers, standard keepers. Behavior this week. Remove 3 draining numbers from daily access. Pursue 2 mentors with proof of fruit. Convene 1 peer council monthly around numbers, not rumors. Put it in your calendar, or it is not a standard. Eagles always test before they trust. Write that down. Access is earned by fruit, not by familiarity. Jesus taught, you will know them by their fruits, Matthew 7:16. Not by their selfies, by their systems. Before you upgrade a voice to your inner circle, ask for receipts. What have they built? How do they measure? Who have they trained? How do they live under pressure? And then limit access until performance matches proclamation. That is not arrogance. That is stewardship. You guard your standards by testing relationships. Different keys for different doors. Pigeons get the porch, clients get the lobby, peers get the conference room, mentors get the nest. Now, metrics, because if you don't measure it, you'll let it decay. Track proximity hours with those ahead of you, minimum 8 per month in learning or review. Track your pigeon percentage hours spent with scoffers, complainers, and bargain hunters. Drive it below 10%. Track your courage index after meetings. Do you leave with bigger targets and cleaner standards? Track average revenue per engagement before and after your room upgrade. Your rate should begin to rise within 90 days if your room is real. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. If you are not getting sharper, you are not with iron. Let me coach you with a quick story. One of my sons, let's call him Daniel, was brilliant but broke. Not because he lacked skill, but because his best friends were chronic discounters and professional procrastinators. We reset his room, weekly call with a mentor who shipped a bi-weekly counsel with 2 producers who reviewed numbers, and a boundary to say no to any client that negotiated his soul. In 60 days, same talent, new room, his price doubled, his refund rate fell to 0, and his sleep returned. Nothing mystical, just standards placed around his mind that told the market how to treat his money. Say it out loud, all over this room. My company predicts my compensation. Again, my company predicts my compensation. Behavior today. Text 3 people who will not let you lie to your future and schedule your first counsel. Mute 3 voices that feed your fear. Bless and release 1 bargain hunter who will not honor your scope. Ecclesiastes 4:9 declares, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. Good reward follows good company. From tonight forward, curate your room like a vault because your mind is the gold. And when you protect the gold, the market pays the premium. Now that your room is upgraded, I want to walk into your factory. Write this down. Predictable production creates predictable income. Not moods, not muses, not random spurts of brilliance. I got news for you. Markets don't pay for occasional fireworks. They pay for power plants that deliver on schedule. You are not paid for what you can do once. You are paid for what you can reproduce at will. Say it with me. Assets before applause. Louder, assets before applause. You are paid for repeatable value, not random brilliance. So we must codify, package, and ship. If your genius is locked in your head, it is a hobby. When you document it, it becomes a product. When you package it, it becomes an asset. When you schedule it, it becomes an income stream. In all labor there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Proverbs 14:23. Talk is applause bait. Labor is asset birth. Eagles are not entertainers. They are producers of value that keeps working when they sleep. Write this down. Cadence is a covenant. Feelings are weather, but cadence is climate. Here is your standard. A weekly production block, a monthly asset release, a quarterly flagship deliverable. Weekly means sacred hours, non-negotiable, where you build the thing, not talk about the thing. Monthly means something leaves your nest with a name and a link. Quarterly means a major release that stretches capacity and announces new standards to the market. Put it on your calendar, or it is not a standard. Speak to your neighbor and say, schedule it to sanctify it. Tell the other one, if it isn't shipped, it doesn't count. Assets are the children of your discipline. What kind of children? Signature frameworks that explain your method in steps the market can follow. Playbooks that give teams the checklist they can run without you. Courses that turn your process into modules and worksheets. Licensing kits so others pay to use your system in their region while you sleep. Templates calculators, assessments, case study libraries, keynote vaults that sell seats long after the meeting is over. This is how you die empty, by emptying your gift into assets so the cemetery receives nothing you are assigned to publish. Jesus said we must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. John 9:4. Day is schedule, night is regret. Choose day. Let me coach you with a story. One of my daughters, called her Sarah, was a consultant sprinting from call to call, exhausted and underpaid because her value lived in conversations that disappeared into air. We sat down and extracted her method into a 4-stage framework, recorded 6 lessons, built a workbook, and wrapped a facilitator guide. She released a light version in 30 days and a flagship in 90. 3 firms licensed it within a quarter. Same gift, new form, new stream. Her calendar stopped bleeding. Her assets started billing. Predictable production, predictable income. Write this down. Good is shipped, great is iterated. You don't need perfect to get paid. You need version 1 on time, then improvement on schedule. Ecclesiastes 11:6 says, sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. Morning seed, evening seed, weekly block, monthly release. That rhythm will embarrass your old famine. And remember, God blesses order. If Tuesday morning is asset time, then phone off, notification silence, door closed, Eagle Factory in session. The world can wait, your legacy cannot. Metrics for your soul: 12 straight weeks of a kept production block, 12 weeks of micro assets shipped, 3 months and 1 asset that bears your name bold. After 90 days, review revenue per week, refund rate, and inbound requests. Assets should be raising your floor and protecting your energy. When storms come, and they will, your assets will keep earning while your emotions recover. That is stewardship. That is wisdom. The hand of the diligent will rule, Proverbs 12:24, not the hand of the distracted. Now lift your head and put your right hand on your heart. Say it, I produce on schedule, not on feeling. Again, I produce on schedule, not on feeling. One more time, so your bones, remember, I produce on schedule, not on feeling. Eagles, this week your block is booked, your asset has a name, your quarter has a flagship, and your cemetery has been denied another deposit. Assets before applause. Predictable production creates predictable income. Now go to the factory and make the future pay attention. Now we move to standard 4, price and boundaries. You teach the market how to treat you. Look at me like I'm your Papa Eagle. Value is not only what you do, it is what you refuse to do. I got news for you. Approval addiction discounts destiny, but boundaries broadcast value. Write that down. When your need to be liked outruns your need to be true, your gift will live on clearance while your future pays full price for regret. The scripture says, the fear of man brings a snare. Proverbs 29:25. A snare is a trap, and many of you have trapped your income inside politeness. We will break that trap tonight. Write this down. Price is policy, and policy is prophecy. Your rates are not numbers, they are standards in disguise. Set them, speak them, and stand there. Here are your rate rules. Minimum engagement fee below this line, I cannot preserve quality. No discount without a scope change. If you change the scope, we can change the price. If you keep the scope, the price stands. Pay discovery before proposal. If you want my brain, it is not free. We diagnose before we design, and diagnosis is valuable. The laborer is worthy of his wages, Luke 10:7. Worthy does not whimper. Worthy writes a policy and smile. Tell your neighbor, price is my policy. Tell the other one, policy trains the market. Time is the twin of money, so your time rules must match your rate rules. Write this down. Calendar blocks for deep work are sacred ground. Ring fence them like a vault. Late fee enforcement, honor on their invoice or interest on their invoice. That is stewardship. No urgent requests without a premium. If you want me to move tonight, you must pay for me to move tonight. Excellence requires oxygen. Rush is a tax on excellence, and eagles do not suffocate for applause. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is love for your future. Ephesians 5:16 says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Redeem it with rules. Now, listen to your father's voice and scripture no, because courage without language becomes compromise. Say it with me. My boundaries protect my brilliance. Again, my boundaries protect my brilliance. Here is your line. Memorize it until your tongue can carry your backbone. I'd love to help. Here is the package that preserves quality. Anything less violates my standard. Say it slow, smile, and send the link. Matthew 5:37 says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. When your yes and no become clear, your income stops being confused. Eagles teach by structure. The mother eagle builds with softness, then lines the nest with thorns so comfort cannot become a prison. Boundaries are your thorns. They do not hurt clients. They train them to fly with you at altitude. So codify your terms. 50% non-refundable deposit to start. Remaining balance before delivery. Net 7 with late fee applied on day 8. 2 rounds of revisions in scope. Anything beyond is additional scope at published rates. Response windows defined. Reschedule policies written. Urgent premium at 40-60% for under 4 8-hour work. Don't apologize for oxygen. Protect it. Your calendar is holy ground for creation. Guard your mornings like a temple. If you erode your temple, you will erode your talent. Metrics will prove your standards. Watch average revenue per engagement rise when you hold your floor. Watch days sales outstanding shrink when you enforce terms. Watch cancellations decline when discovery is paid. Watch refund rates drop when scope is in writing. If the numbers do not move, the standard was a wish. Strengthen it and try again. Like a city broken down and without walls is a man who lacks self-control. Proverbs 25-28. Walls are boundaries. Cities with walls collect taxes. People with walls collect value. Let me pastor you for a moment. Some of you have been bleeding because you blessed what you should have priced, you attended what you should have declined, and you rushed what you should have scheduled. No more. The market is your student. Teach it with policy, reinforce with practice, and graduate it with consistency. Speak over yourself until your bones believe it. My boundaries protect my brilliance. One more time. My boundaries protect my brilliance. When you raise your boundaries, you raise your perceived value, and when perception becomes policy, it becomes payment. From tonight forward, you will not beg for respect, you will build for it, because excellence is your standard, and standards send invoices that get paid. Standard 5 is trust and stewardship test before you invest. Look at me like I'm your papa eagle. Eagles always test before they trust. The mother eagle will drop a twig and watch the male catch it again and again until trust is proven. Why? Because the future of the nest depends on standards under pressure. Write this down. If they refuse your test, they do not deserve your trust. Say it with me. Trust is earned by test. Stewardship multiplies the rest. Louder. Trust is earned by test. Stewardship multiplies the rest. I got news for you. Some of you are calling it faith when it is actually financial negligence. Scripture says it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. 1 Corinthians 4:2. Faithful means measured, reviewed, and proven. So before you sign a vendor, a partner, a platform, or a promise, install the Eagle test. Due diligence is not doubt. It is dignity. Measure twice, sign once. Small pilot before big contract, 30 to 90 days, clearly scoped, milestone-based, with exit terms in writing. Seek references, 3 clients they have served, numbers they can verify, and failures they can explain. If they cannot give you fruit, do not give them flight. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their pitch, by their proof. Now write this down. Money moves according to the standards you enforce after it arrives. Stewardship standards scale influence. What you monitor, you multiply. Proverbs 27:23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. Your flocks today are cash, receivables, margin, and runway. So we allocate before we celebrate. On every dollar that touches your account, execute the allocation standard the same day. Generosity, tithe first 10%. Taxes, set aside your government's portion immediately. Not emotionally. Reserves build an emergency runway of 3 to 6 to 9 months of operating expenses. Staircase by quarter, reinvestment, skills, assets, systems, owners pay, predictable salary. Operations, what's left to spend. Malachi 3:10 declares, bring all the tithe into the storehouse and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. You do the bringing, God does the opening. But if you don't separate it, you will spend it, and windows don't open over disordered bonds. Set up separate accounts so standards are structural, not seasonal. One for tax, one for generosity, one for reserves, one for operations. Automate transfers weekly. Your emotions will adjust to what your accounts enforce. Joseph stored grain in the years of plenty so Egypt could prosper in famine. Genesis 41. That is runway. Your assignment deserves the same wisdom. Hear me, cash runway is not fear. It is freedom to say no to fools and yes to standards. Now the audit rhythm, because ignorance is expensive. Monthly financial review by the 5th business day. Reconcile all accounts. Match invoices to deposits. Verify tax set-asides. Top up reserves. Review your KPI dashboard weekly at minimum. Cash on hand, months of runway, revenue by stream, gross margin, net margin, days sales outstanding, on-time delivery rate, refund rate, lead conversion, client concentration. No single client over 25% of revenue. If a number drifts, you do not pray first. You look first, you learn first, and then you pray while you act. Luke 16:10, he who is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Faithfulness is math before it is miracles. Vendors and platforms must pass the numbers test too. Try the tool in Sandbox before migrating your life to it. Cap your exposure, no annual prepay until the quarterly pilot proves uptime, support speed, and data export. For partnerships, sign milestones with money released on delivery, not on promises. Escrow when appropriate. And listen to me, no handshake in the hallway replaces signatures with scope. If they push you to rush, they are confessing they cannot pass your test. Put your hand on your heart and declare trust is earned by test. Stewardship multiplies the rest. Again, trust is earned by test. Stewardship multiplies the rest. Behavior this week. Open the 4 accounts. Write your allocation percentages. Schedule your monthly review on the calendar recurring. Build a 1-page KPI dashboard. And require a paid pilot for any new major relationship. From tonight forward, you will not tolerate ignorance of your numbers. Because when you monitor, you multiply. When you test, you can trust. And when you steward, heaven can scale your influence without breaking your life. Standard 6 is storm protocols. Pressure is your promotion. Look at me like I'm your Papa Eagle. I got news for you. Eagles love storms. When the dark clouds gather and the winds begin to howl, the eagle does not run to the barn like a pigeon. He locks his wings, faces the wind, and uses the very pressure that terrifies other birds to rise above the clouds. Write this down. Adversity exposes and upgrades standards. Pressure properly handled becomes promotion. Say it with me. Pressure properly handled becomes promotion. The scripture is clear. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and let perseverance finish its work. James 1-2-4. Trials are not a sign you're off course. They are the wind God sent to take you higher if you will hold your standards. Storms do not ask permission. They arrive with invoices. So you must have a playbook, not panic. Write this down. Storm playbook. Cut waste. Protect production. Double outreach. Sharpen the offer. Communicate more, not less. I'll explain. Cut waste. Freeze non-essential. Spend immediately. Nice to haves go first. Mission critical only. Cancel experiments that do not directly fund the floor. Protect production. Your weekly asset block is now sacred like the altar. Nothing breaks it. Assets must ship on schedule because assets are umbrellas that pay you while you dry. Double outreach. Storms are not a time to hide. They are a time to knock double qualified conversations, double follow-up touch points, double proposals sent. Sow in the wind and you will reap when it clears. Sharpen the offer. Adjust to urgent pain package, speed, certainty, and clear outcomes. Introduce a fast start path with boundaries. Tiered options with policy intact. If you can shorten time to value, you can raise perceived value. Communicate more, not less, with clients, proactive weekly updates, revised timelines, clear next steps, with team daily stand-ups, visible metrics, fast decisions, with market published useful content that solves storm problems. Silence breeds fear. Clarity breeds trust. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Proverbs 24:10. Strength is standards held under wind. Now, let me father your fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding that fear will be your signal, not your shepherd. Write it down. Fear is a signpost that greatness is near. When your chest tightens, treat it as a bell that says it's time to rise. Binary choice time. Use storms for depression or for elevation. Choose elevation. Everybody say, no matter what, I rise in the wind. Again, no matter what, I rise in the wind. One more time until your bones remember, no matter what, I rise in the wind. Isaiah 40:31 promises, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Waiting is not idleness. Waiting is poised readiness, protocols in place, discipline engaged, faith steady. Here are your triggers, because standards without signal slip. If revenue dips 20% below your 3-month average, storm protocol engages for 30 days. If lead flow falls 2 consecutive weeks below baseline, double outreach begins same day. If a major client delays, you replace that pipeline within 72 hours with targeted proposals. Reduce discretionary spend by a pre-written list in order subscriptions that don't touch delivery. Travel that flatters ego, not revenue. Projects without near-term ROI. Protect your mornings for production. Protect your afternoons for outreach. Protect your evenings for recovery so your mind stays sharp. And communicate. Email your clients before they email you. Here is what we're doing. Here is how we're protecting your outcomes. Here is what we need from you. Markets reward the calm voice with a plan. Let me give you a story. One of my sons, Micah, faced a storm when 2 enterprise deals paused in the same week. Old Micah would have curled up with anxiety. Eagle Micah opened his playbook. He froze non-essentials that afternoon, held his production block, and released a storm-specific micro offer in 72 hours, doubled his outreach to decision makers with relevant case studies, and sent a frank, faith-filled update to all clients with new milestones. 30 days later, those paused deals returned, and 2 new mid-market clients came in by referral. Why? Because pressure met protocol, and protocol produced promotion. Romans 5:3-4 says, we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation works patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. Hope is not a feeling. It is a byproduct of practice standards. Behavior this week, write your 1-page storm playbook and keep it where your panic can't ignore it. Top 5 costs to cut first, core production blocks guarded, outreach targets doubled with names listed, a sharpened offer designed for urgent outcomes, and 3 pre-written client updates ready to send. Schedule a storm drill with your team. Walk through the steps now so your muscles know them later. From tonight forward, when the wind rises, you will not scatter like pigeons. You will lock your wings like an eagle and let the pressure lift you. Say it one last time. No matter what, I rise in the wind. And when you rise, your standards rise, your value rises, your income rises, and your impact rise, the very storm that came to test you. Standard 7 is renew to multiply. Look at me like I'm your papa eagle. I got news for you. No matter how strong your wings, if your feathers are clogged with old oil and heavy debris, the wind cannot lift you. Write this down. Renewal protects revenue. Shedding what's heavy makes you faster and more valuable. Say it with me. Rest is a revenue strategy. Louder. Rest is a revenue strategy. One more time until your bones believe it. Rest is a revenue strategy. Scientists and shepherds of the sky will tell you when an eagle senses its feathers are heavy and its beak is dull and its talons are losing grip, it retreats to a high hidden rock. It gets quiet. It plucks old feathers. It knocks the beak against the stone. It scrapes the talons. It bleeds a little. It looks terrible for a season, and then it waits. New feathers grow. A sharp beak returns. Strong talons re-emerge. And when it steps to the edge again, the same wind that felt like weight becomes wings again. Write this down. Renewal is not retreat. It is maintenance of dominion. This is creator design. God is not nervous about rest. On the seventh day, God rested and blessed that day. Genesis 2:2. Jesus told his disciples, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Mark 6:31. And Isaiah 40:31 declares, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Waiting is not laziness. Waiting is a standard alignment with design that restores power. Out of alignment, you hustle and hemorrhage. In alignment, you glide and gather. Turn to your neighbor and declare, my recovery is holy ground. So let me set your renewal rhythms, because rhythms make results. Write this down. Daily solitude, weekly Sabbath, quarterly offsite, annual reinvention. Daily solitude, 30, 60 minutes where your phone bows to your purpose. Scripture open, journal out, vision reviewed, priorities set. No scrolling, no noise, just alignment. Weekly Sabbath, 24 hours off from production and promotion. No selling, no shipping, just soul repair worship, laughter, long walks, family tables, and sleep that smiles. The Sabbath was made for man, Mark 2:27, given as a gift, not as a guilt. Quarterly off-site, 1 to 2 days away from your normal environment with your metrics, your standards, and your questions. What is heavy? What must be shed? What must be sharpened? What will we stop doing? Annual reinvention. Every 12 months, you molt your offer, retire what is low margin and low joy, bundle what is valuable, raise the floor, update the flagship, and align pricing with the person you have become. Health standards now, because drained vessels deliver discounted value. Write this down. Sleep is a strategy, not a suggestion. Aim for 7 to 8 hours as a sacred covenant. No screens 1 hour before bed. Protect a wind down ritual that tells your nervous system the eagle is roosting. Movement is medicine. 30 minutes daily of sweat that speaks to your cells. Strength, work for bones. Walking for focus. Stretching for longevity. Nutrition is non-negotiable protein that rebuilds. Fiber that cleans, water that clears, limit sugar that spikes and crashes your standards. Alcohol that blurs boundaries must not drive your calendar. 3 John 1-2 says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. Prosperity without health is a prison. Health without standards is a hobby. We want holy prosperity, aligned, sustained, generous. Write this down. If you don't schedule renewal, exhaustion will schedule collapse. So build it like policy. Block your Sabbath for the next 12 weeks, non-negotiable. Book your quarterly off-site tonight hotel, retreat space, or a mountain trail, but away. Put daily solitude on your calendar, first hour or last hour, but carved in stone. Plan your annual reinvention. Date month 11, you review. Month 12, you reprice. Month 1, you relaunch. And start a mold. Listen, everything heavy goes on paper, a product past its season, a client who violates your standards, a subscription that steals focus, a habit that fogs your mind. One by one, shed them. When the feathers fall, the speed returns. Metrics for your renewal. Track sleep hours and wake energy. Track resting heart rate and mood after meetings. Track deep work hours after Sabbath. You should see quality rise. Track refund rate and response time post-off-site. They should improve. Track revenue per hour after annual reinvention. If standards rose, your rate must testify. If the numbers don't change, the standard was talk. Strengthen it and try again. Put your hand on your heart and declare, rest is a revenue strategy. Again, rest is a revenue strategy. Now say, I molt to multiply. One more time, I molt to multiply. From tonight forward, you will no longer worship busyness, you will honor design. You will retreat to renew, shed what's heavy, return with new feathers and a sharp beak, and ride the wind that once wore you out. Because income obeys standards, not intentions. And renewal is the standard that keeps you valuable until you die empty and the cemetery receives nothing you were signed to release. Now that you've touched renewal, we must expose what still hides in your house. Look at me like I'm your Papa Eagle. Some of you are paid like pigeons because you tolerate pigeon habits. Let's find them. Write this down. What you tolerate becomes your ceiling. Say it. What I tolerate becomes my ceiling. Louder. What I tolerate becomes my ceiling. We're going to build your tolerance sheet right now. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain, because if it's not on paper, it's not a policy, it's a wish. 5 categories: time, people, money, health, environment. Under each category, list what you are currently tolerating. Then score each toleration from 1 to 5. 1 means I regularly tolerate this, it runs me. 5 means I have a visible standard and I enforce it. Time: do you tolerate reactive mornings, meetings with no agenda, interruptions every 10 minutes? People: do you tolerate energy vampires, late payers, complainers who never commit? Money: do you tolerate unpaid invoices, unclear pricing, spending without allocation? Health: do you tolerate 4 hours of sleep, sugar spikes, missed workouts that you plan to catch up on? Environment: do you tolerate a cluttered desk, noisy workspace, messy files, unclean digital folders that eat your focus? Psalm 90:12 prays, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Number your tolerations and wisdom will rise. Now your ceiling calculator. Write this down. Your income cap is not a mystery. It is a math of tolerated standards. Pull your last 12 months of revenue. Circle the 3 highest months. Take the middle of those 3, the median. That is your operational monthly ceiling. Multiplied by 12, there is your 12-month cap if nothing changes. Now, under that number, write this sentence. The standard I tolerated that allowed this cap is, and finish it. Maybe it's no protected production blocks, discounting without scope change, no deposit required, sleep deprivation, or I work with anyone who wants me. James 1-8 says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Double standards birth unstable income. I want 1-degree upgrades, not fantasies. Write this down. 1 higher standard per category for 30 days. Define the behavior, define the metric, time. Higher standard, first 90 minutes daily of deep work, phone in another room. Metric, 20 sessions logged in, 30 days. People: higher standard, enforce 50% deposit before work, decline chronic late callers. Metric, 100% deposit compliance, 0 unpaid starts. Money: higher standard, same day allocation to tax, reserves, generosity, owner's pay. Metric, 4 weekly transfers with screenshots. Health: higher standard, 7 hours of sleep, lights out by 10, 30, movement 30 minutes. Metric, 26 of 30 nights, 20 workouts logged. Environment: higher standard, end of day reset, clear desks, closed loops, next day plan visible. Metric, 20 resets in 30 days. Small hinges swing big doors. 1 degree repeated is altitude. Accountability now, because private vows leak without public walls. Choose your eagle. Witness someone who flies, not a pigeon who excuses. Proverbs 27-17 says, iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Text them tonight. Here are my 5 1-degree standards and my metrics. I give you permission to verify. Set a weekly 5-minute check-in. Screenshot the scoreboard, or it didn't happen. If you miss a metric, you pay a price. Donate $100 to a cause you respect or to a competitor you don't. Pain trains. And don't hide this. Post one of your upgraded standards publicly to your team or community. Public commitment raises private compliance. Now, I want crowd activation. Turn to your neighbor and declare, I just found my ceiling and I'm raising it. Again, I just found my ceiling and I'm raising it. Tell the other side, income obeys my standards. One more time, income obeys my standards. This week's work, complete the tolerance sheet. Score every toleration 1 to 5. Calculate your 1-2 month cap. Write the standard that allowed it to exist. Choose 1 upgrade in each category with a behavior and a metric. Appoint your eagle witness and schedule your weekly verification. By next month, I want to hear numbers move, response time shrinking, deposits at 100%, deep work sessions logged, sleep restored, desk reset, revenue per hour rising. Money is a mirror. When you raise the standard, you change the reflection. From tonight forward, you will not live beneath invisible ceilings. You will name them, measure them, and raise them so you can mount up, earn clean, serve deeply, and die empty while the cemetery gets nothing that God put in you. Now, we seal what you have seen with a covenant, because insight without covenant dissolves back into intention by Monday afternoon. Write this down. A public covenant locks private standards. What you declare and measure, you become. Ecclesiastes 5:4 says, when you vow a vow unto God, defer not to pay it. And Jesus said, let your yes be yes. Matthew 5:37. So tonight in this room, before God and these witnesses, we turn standards into vows with dates and measures. Everybody say, eagles make vows with action. Again, eagles make vows with action. Take your pen and number 1 through 7. One vow for each standard, non-negotiable, measurable, dated. Standard 1, vision. By the 1st of each month, my vision scoreboard will be updated revenue target, asset count, lead flow, margin with a one-page plan for the next 30 days. Standard 2 association. By the 15th of next month, I will join one room that flies higher, mastermind, mentorship, or industry council, and I will cut one pigeon circle that keeps me low. Standard 3, production. Every week, by Friday, 5 p.m., I will publish 2 assets, minimum product, module, article, case study, or demo logged in, a visible asset tracker. Standard 4, price and boundaries. Effective immediately, 50% deposit before start. Scope in writing. Response windows defined, and a rush fee for urgency, no exceptions. Standard 5, trust and stewardship. By the 5th business day monthly, accounts reconciled, allocations executed, KPI dashboard reviewed and filed. New vendors through a 30-90-day paid pilot. Standard 6 storm protocols. If revenue dips 20% from baseline, a 30-day storm sprint begins within 24 hours. Waste cut, outreach doubled, offer sharpened, and client updates sent. Standard 7 renewal. Sabbath blocked weekly. Daily solitude schedule. Quarterly offsite booked by tonight. Annual reinvention date set, moat list reviewed and acted upon. Luke 14:28 says, which of you, intending to build a tower, sits not down first and counts the cost? Vows without timelines are fantasies. Standards with dates become structures. Now lift your head. I want the room to be your witness. Speak your first standard aloud. Say it to the air so the atmosphere hears you. Come on, let me hear eagles. Again, one more time till your bones agree. This is not hype. This is Hebraic words, create worlds. Deuteronomy 30:19, I have set before you life and death, therefore choose life. You are choosing life by choosing standards. Scoreboard now, because vows need a wall to live on. Write this down, weekly review, visible tracker, celebrate compliance, not just outcomes. Every Sunday at 5 p.m., you meet your standards on paper, green for kept, red for missed, notes for adjustment. Put the tracker where you and your team can see it, dashboard, link, whiteboard in the office, or a shared sheet, because what is visible becomes valuable. And hear me celebrate the kept standard even before the outcome arrives. We clap for obedience because outcomes follow obedience. James 2:17 says, faith without works is dead. Your works are your weekly compliance. Outcomes are the harvest that comes in season. Boundary letter, because clarity prevents conflict. By 72 hours from now, you will send 3 versions to clients. Here are our service standards, deposit, scope, response times, delivery windows, and change order protocols, so we can serve you with excellence and predictability. To your team, here are our internal standards meeting agendas, deep work blocks, weekly scoreboards, storm triggers, and decision rights. To your family, here are my covenant boundaries, Sabbath protected, phone down during family dinner, gym time honored, bedtime enforced. so I can stay strong to love and provide. Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Serving the Lord includes serving your assignment with boundaries that honor the people you love. Now, I want activation in your mouth and motion in your hands. Stand to your feet if you're ready to bind your life to these standards. Clap your hands like you just found the keys to your future. Say it with me. Standards up, ceiling up, value up, income up. Again, standards up, ceiling up, value up, income up. One more time until your future hears you. Standards up, ceiling up, value up, income up. Behavior tonight. Write the 7 vows with dates and metrics. Post your scoreboard. Schedule the Sunday review recurring. Draft and send the boundary letters within 72 hours. Declare aloud each morning one standard you will keep that day. From this night, your yes will be yes. Your wall will talk. Your circle will know. And your numbers will testify. Because the public covenant locks private standards. And what you declare and measure, you become an eagle who flies high, earns clean, serves deep, and will one day die empty while the cemetery gets nothing that God put inside you. Look at me one more time like I'm your Papa Eagle. The vows are on your paper. The scoreboard is on your wall. The boundary letters are in draft. Now we seal this with destiny. The richest real estate on earth is still waiting just down the road. The cemetery with shelves of unwritten books, vaults of unsung songs, blueprints of unbuilt businesses, sermons never preached, cures never researched, cities never served. Don't you dare donate your treasure to that ground. Not one more day of delay, not one more year of one day. Say it with me, not in my case. Again, not in my case. One more time. Until your bones believe it. Not in my case. Identity now. Because your future answers to your name. You are the rare breed called the eagle. You were not born for the barnyard of public opinion. You were born for the high rock of purpose. Eagles fly alone. Eagles love storms. Eagles test before they trust. Eagles molt to multiply. If there are eagles in this room, then I want you to join me at the top and don't come alone. Bring your sons, your daughters, your team, your clients, anyone willing to raise a standard. Put your hand on your heart and declare, I am an eagle. I rise, I produce, I steward, I renew. Louder, I am an eagle. I rise, I produce, I steward, I renew. I got news for you. Desire is cheap. Standards are expensive. And income pays attention to expenses. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. Write that down and tattoo it on your week. Say it with me. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. Again, you don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. Now finish it. So raise it. Louder. So raise it. Money is a mirror. It reflects the value your standards produce consistently. When you lift the standard, you lift the reflection value up, income up, impact up. Now I commission you in the name of the Creator who designed you for altitude. Align with his pattern, not the crowd's pressure. Fly above the pigeons, bless them, feed them if you must, but do not nest with them. Steward the storms when the wind comes, lock your wings and rise. Guard your trust. Count your numbers, protect your Sabbath, produce your assets, enforce your boundaries, renew your strength, and keep your vows. Isaiah 40:31 is your covenant. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. And when your race is over, may your testimony be like Paul's. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. 2 Timothy 4:7. Finish, don't just start. Empty, don't just intend. I speak a blessing over your hands and your house. Clarity in your vision, courage in your boundaries, favor upon your stewardship, wisdom in your associations, resilience in your storms, rest that restores your revenue, and joy that outlives your results. May clients find you because standards announce you. May fear lose its voice because protocols guide you. May your children inherit systems, not stress. May your team inherit order, not chaos. May your city inherit service, not slogans. Now stand tall in your soul. Lift your chin like royalty and whisper it to your future. Standards up, ceiling up, value up, income up. Again, standards up, ceiling up, value up, income up. Go now and mount up. Go now and enforce. Go now and build. Go now and sing. Go now and write. Go now and serve. And when your day comes to leave this planet, may you smile, because there is nothing left to bury. Decide today to raise your standards, lift your income, and leave the cemetery empty of your gifts. Amen.